Down with Joseph Schultz, our top unit producer over at Tony'sPicks.com. We'll give you a complete rundown for this Saturday card in the NBA, and we're right up against it, so let's go ahead and bring him in right now. Joseph Schultz, you'll find him over at Tony'sPicks.com, top unit producer. Joseph, how's it going today?
Going good, Tony. Going well.
All right, excellent. So let's get started. We got a game beginning here in just minutes. We'll get to this one here between the Hawks and the Nets going head-to-head, and we're seeing here the Hawks road favorites, point and a half, total 218.5.
Okay, so Ben Simmons is going to be out for this game, and it looks like Cam Thomas will play. Brooklyn just beat Atlanta 124-97 2 days ago, but they shot 51% from the field and almost 48% from three-point. Now, I'd be the first one to tell you that it makes me uncomfortable to back the Hawks, or quite frankly, even fade them, because they're so inconsistent. And they have enough talent on that team to play well any given night, but they also play well beneath where they should be playing. So they're a hard team to call. But this does set up for an immediate revenge spot for the Hawks. I don't think Brooklyn can replicate that shooting performance that they just did. It also sets up to me, I'm not a huge totals guy, but it sets up for me to look like an under spot. Both teams are 4-1 to the under in their last 5 games. The total opened up at 221.5, and it was steamed twice. Once down to 220.5, and then again to 218.5. I think Atlanta is the sharp side, and I couldn't talk anyone off of taking the under in this game as well.
All right, here we go. Joe Schultz, find his premium plays over at Tony'sPicks.com. Hawks and Nets about to get started. If you're in game, he likes the under 218.5 here. Hawks and the Nets played in game if you can. So you watch this live here on our show. Guys, just to let you know, joined by Joseph Schultz, top unit producer over at Tony'sPicks.com. Of course, enjoying a fantastic 2024. As you can see him here, top of the leaderboard over at Tony'sPicks.com. I always like to show you this. You go to the bottom here, you'll see leaderboard 2.1, you'll see Joseph not only the top leaderboard here for the first 2 months of the year, but last year was the top unit producer. So he's producing about 6,000 units of profit over the past 14 months. A fantastic performance here by Joseph Schultz, guys. So go ahead and get signed up to his premium picks for today, or a long-term pass will serve you well, even better. So get signed up. All right, let's continue on here on our NBA rundown here on Game Day Picks, joined by Joseph Schultz. Up next, we're going to take a look here at the Jazz and the Heat here at 5 Eastern time. NBA TV will have it. The Heat laying some points here, 8.5. We see the total 222.5.
Right, so this injury report could make a pretty good roster. Clarkson and Walker Kessler are questionable for the Jazz, as is Caleb Martin, Hayward Highsmith, Tyler Hero, and Kevin Love for Miami. Utah has fallen off of a cliff a little bit since the trade deadline. I think that some of the moves they made, they lost a little too much depth. And it hasn't gotten any better for them as of late. They're just 1-4, both straight up and against the spread in the last 5, with the only one of those wins and covers coming against the Spurs. Now, Miami, on the other hand, putting things together. They just went 4-1 straight up and 5-0 against the spread in their last 5 games, including impressive wins against Western Conference teams like the Kings and the Pelicans on the road, which is even more impressive. No team has a rest advantage in this game. Utah won their last meeting, so it sets up to be a possible revenge spot for the Heat. Miami's defense has been elite lately. And while the Jazz struggle, or have been struggling to stop anyone from scoring, Miami has struggled covering big numbers at home dating back to last season. But I think that trend is starting to turn around now, and I would be comfortable laying the points with the Heat.
All right, Joseph Schultz, top unit producer over at Tony'sPicks.com. Get his premium plays over on the site. Jazz and Heat today. He likes the Heat laying the points here against the Utah Jazz. And how can you blame the Jazz? Have been a terrible road team, terrible defensively. And, of course, you trade away Olenek. You trade it. And the key here was they traded away Fontecchio someone in the rotation for draft picks. So that kind of tells you where this team is headed. When you make moves like that, Joseph, you're pretty much telling the team you're playing for next season.
Exactly. Right then and there, I knew that they were looking towards the future.
No doubt about that. All right, let's continue here on the rundown, NBA rundown here on Game Day Picks for today. Next game up, we bring you Trailblazers Grizzlies in a rematch game here. Grizzlies laying 2, total 208.5.
Speaking of teams that are looking towards the future, both of these teams here are not really Memphis's fault. They tried, and as soon as Ja went down, I mean, it's pretty much the smart thing to do here. But Memphis, like I said, they are a tanking team, and they've got some losing to do if they want to catch teams like Detroit and Washington. They're sitting out Jaren Jackson Jr., Luke Kennard, Derrick Rose, and some other key pieces. Portland is also a tanking team, and they're probably going to not play Ayton in this game. Both teams have won just one game in their last 5. Memphis has covered in 3 of those 5, though. So they're still a little scrappy. This is a back-to-back for both teams. They just played each other last night, and Memphis won in a blowout fashion. I believe it was about 30 points. This game is hard to figure out, if I'm going to be honest. I think the Memphis players seem to give really great effort despite the losing that the front office wants to do, where the Blazers players seem a little more willing to go along with the tank. So as hard as it is to call this game, if I had to play it, I would take the Grizzlies just because they seem to be giving more effort.
Here you go, Joe Schultz, top unit producer over at TonySpace.com. Past 2 years, over 6,000 units of profit documented over at TonySpace.com. Trailblazers and Grizzlies. Joe says lay the 2 points here with Memphis. All right, let's continue here on our NBA rundown here, joined by Joseph Schultz here, live here for you today on Saturday. Let's continue on. Next up, it's the big one tonight. Nuggets and the Lakers. This line was real tight. I was seeing one team favored by a point to the other, but now we're looking at a pick 'em, pick the winner, you win the bet. Yep. Lakers and Nuggets, total 228.
Probably the game of the night. So LeBron James is listed as questionable, and I wouldn't have expected anything else. The Lakers are doing their normal injury report manipulation, and I'm sorry if I'm wrong about that, and he ends up being out, but I can almost guarantee that he plays this game. So if that's something that you're waiting to find out to place a bet, then I think you should just go ahead and act on it as if he's in the game. But there is some question marks for the Nuggets with Jamal Murray and KCP both being questionable. We just saw Jamal Murray get hurt the other game, so he very well could be out of this game. Denver has been red hot lately, winning each of their last 5 games and going 4-1 against the spread games. The Lakers haven't been bad. They've gone 3-2 straight up in their last 5 games. And they've gone on a little bit of a streak ever since getting a good win against Boston. Now, the Nuggets do own the Lakers, winning 5 straight. And I think the Nuggets own the Lakers, winning 5 straight against them, covering 4 straight against them. Like I said, with the win against Boston, they've won a couple of games since the Lakers have. So I think they got a little momentum with there. This game is a little bit more of a gut feel, and it might be a little uncomfortable. There is sharp money to suggest that I'm on the right side of this. But I have it as actually a pick'em or the Lakers laying a point. Either way, I think the Lakers are going to be the right side in this game.
All right, here we go. Joe Schultz, get his premium plays over at Tony'sPicks.com. Nuggets and Lakers, the big one tonight. Likes this one. Lakers here in this spot. All right, that's what they've done. They've come up, they've risen to the big game for LA, winners of 9 of their past 12. Made it tough in that sandwich spot against Washington. Maybe it was predictable considering Clippers, then the Washington sandwich, and then here comes the Nuggets into town. All right, let's continue here on the rundown here on Game Day Picks, joined here by Joseph Schultz, top unit producer over at Tony'sPicks.com. Next up, we close it out, this NBA card for Saturday with the Rockets and Suns going head-to-head again, 9 Eastern time. The Suns going to be laying 9.5, total of 232.5.
I think they get Bradley back for this game, but they'll probably be without Eric Gordon and Nasir Little. Phoenix hasn't really impressed me lately, though, going just 2-3 against the spread in their last 5 and struggling against the better teams on their schedule. Now, Houston has won 2 straight games, but they've been terrible on the road. They're just 5-24 straight up on the road this season and 10-19 against the spread on the road. With that said, I'm still uncomfortable laying 9.5 with Phoenix in their current form. Now, I think much like the Clippers when they were struggling and how the Bucks were when Doc just came in, the Suns have enough talent to turn this around, and they could be dangerous in the playoffs. But just, like I said, not in their current form. And they could win this game even. I'm just saying 9.5 is a little too steep with me. For what it's worth, these two teams have gone under their total, have gone over their total in just once in their last 10 games combined. So the last 5 games for each team, only one of those games went over the total. And this total was 233.5 the last time I saw it. And I checked all the other totals from those past 10 games, and they were all within that range. Now, these two teams just played, and they combined for just 225. Again, not a huge totals expert. I do know my way around, obviously, but I would look towards the under in this game.
There you go. Jeff Schultz, get his premium plays over at Tony'sPicks.com. Rockets and the Suns likes this one under 232.5. Look at the markets. There are some 233.5s out there, so check it out, guys. Get the best number. But hard to argue that when Houston has been a team that has their struggles trying to score away from home. And Suns have actually played a little better defense as of late. Real sneaky their last 5 games. There you go. Our complete rundown here from Joseph here at Tony'sPicks.com. As we mentioned before, Joseph Schultz is the top unit producer over at Tony'sPicks.com. If you go up to our site, upper right, you'll see Joseph Schultz. They're parked as number 1 here, over 2,900 units of profit. As you go down to leaderboard 2.0, you'll see it matches up here for this year and last year, right? Last year we put up 3,000 units of profit. So if you look at the last 2 years, over the last 14 months, Joseph Schultz have accumulated 6,000 units of profit. There's no handicapper anywhere posting these type of numbers on documented websites like ours. There aren't too many that track records like we do, and we trust me, we track records. There's some other sites that do, but take a look at the last 2 seasons, last 14 months, 6,000 units of profit documented over at Tony'sPicks.com. Joseph Schultz, the top unit producer. All right, Joseph, we're heading into the NBA card here. We'll have a remainder of the card now. We got 4 games, including that big Denver game. Also, lots of college hoops as we shoot this. There'll be some huge games coming up in prime time as well. What do you have going on over at Tony'sPicks.com? As we can see here, a fantastic year for Joseph, over 3,000 units of profit. What do you have going over at the site?
Well, I've already put in my play of the day in for just $15 with profit guaranteed as always. There's all, you guys, we've been going over this. You guys know that there's long-term packages, 3 days, a week, a month, year. But as soon as we leave here, I'm going to go put in NBA 3-pack that will consist of, obviously, games besides the Hawks game that just started.
All right, guys, get over with Joseph over at Tony'sPicks.com. You see the great unit results right now. Long-term passes, 3, 7, or 30 all sports pass. That 1 month pass will get you all of Joseph's premium plays for 30 days, including the NBA up until, near the end of the regular season, right? We go right all the way up to April 1st.
So worth it.
Well worth it.
It's also so worth it, especially I've been doing a lot of NBA recently, but that's because I like to focus in. So I like to focus in and be more of a sniper. I believe in quality over quantity, but I have been following college basketball all year long. I just haven't putting a lot of those picks out. If you go to the website and you look, I am hitting 67% of my college basketball picks, and I get really big on that during tournament time. So that'll be coming up too. So it's a good time to get the month.
Very good time to get the month because that'll take you right until the championship game when you get that 1 month all sports pass. Also, conference tournaments begin next week. Actually, Monday is when the ASUN starts their conference tournament. So lots of college basketball coming up. Also, the minor tournaments, your NIT, your CBI. Lots happening here in hoops right now. So no better time to get that 1 month pass. Remember the promo code Tony T at checkout, and you'll be able to save that 20% off. You can access Joseph's page by clicking the link you see in the description. Click the All Cappers tab, look for Joseph, and get signed up. All right, Joseph, as always, great having you here on Game Day Picks with that NBA rundown. And, of course, we'll be back again with action for you for Sunday, man. Have a great afternoon and evening, and we'll catch up with you again tomorrow.
All right, so can't wait.
Can't wait. Joseph Schultz here on Game Day Picks. All right, guys, you guys have a great winning day, and we'll catch up with you guys